Hello, my name is Michelle Simpson. I am an African American truck driver. I'm also the victim of a Karen. I am making this video because I have been treated unjustly by Savannah, Georgia law enforcement. There are two problems. The first is that I was violently arrested for no reason. The second is that after winning my court case, my attorney Savannah GA has not sought compensation to restore my black-owned business. My business has been destroyed by the accusations of a Karen. Here's what happened. I had recently signed my truck on as a contract driver for Landstar. I have been a driver for 4 years with no problems until March 10, 2022. I was assigned to pick up a load from Home Depot warehouse to deliver the next Monday, March 14 in Brennigsville, Pennsylvania. After the 20-ton load was loaded onto my truck, I drove to a nearby truck stop to check the weight. The scale revealed that the load was not legal and overweight. So I returned to the shipper to have the load reworked. However, between the location of the shipper and the truck stop sat a weigh station. I followed all protocol and entered the weigh station. I was met by an African American officer and explained the situation to him. I provided proof of weighing the truck and he allowed me to continue. The load was then reworked at the warehouse. I then went back to the same truck stop. It was still overweight, which would require a third rework of the freight. However, it was late, so the warehouse was closing. I slept at the truck stop. The next day, March 11th, I began the return. Again, I had to pass the weigh station and was signaled to enter. I pulled in and noticed that there was an older white female officer standing outside the building. She had been present when I was pulled in on March 10th, but I had been assigned to a different officer that day. We had no communication with each other on March 10th. However, on March 11th she was livid. Many unfortunate events followed. With a stone-cold face she told me that she has a different guy there today and that he was going to get me. I had no idea what a different guy there today and that he was going to get me would mean. But it sounded like something that I did not want to experience. She told me to put the truck on the scale as she walked back inside the dot building. I complied with her demands. I tried to explain the situation to her, but she continued to ignore me while returning inside the building. There was an intercom at the truck scale that I tried to speak to someone, but no one would respond. A few minutes later, the white male officer whom she had warned me about came out of the building. At this point I had climbed out of my truck, waiting with the proper paperwork, hoping to explain the situation. But the officer was completely silent, refusing to speak or view my paperwork. It was obvious to me that he did not respect me as a black person, so he would not treat me decently. He took out a notepad and began writing many unknown things. I decided that I should leave. In the safest manner possible, I decided to leave. As I was slowly leaving the weigh station, many police cars came from hidden locations at the weigh station. Once pulled over, they unleashed a vicious attack. They drew guns on me while screaming that they could not see my hands. A white male officer burst open my window and pulled me from my truck without my feet ever touching the steps. I didn't resist being arrested. I only was hoping that I could drive away from these people that wanted to hurt me for being black. The white male officer slammed me onto the glass-covered ground and put handcuffs on me. He then slammed my face into the shards of glass after I had already been cuffed. I felt warm blood begin to flow down my face. He then stood on my back. I could not breathe. They vandalized my truck. The entire arrest was very unprofessional, never reading me my rights. Even another male officer began spitting on me as I was sitting cuffed on the ground. This level of hatred for an African American female driver was beyond anything that I had ever experienced. Often I could sense hatred towards me, but no one had ever taken it this far. I was in a lot of danger for simply working. I was taken to the hospital, then to a local jail, and held for 7 days without seeing a judge for a bond hearing. The jail was dirty. I was so shaken by this event that I could not eat anything until I left from there. On August 2, 2022, I had my final court date about this incident, which the charges were dismissed. However, I am decimated. It cost me nearly $25,000 to get out of jail, prove my innocence, and get my truck towed home. The hired attorney Savannah GA has not sought compensation for my business. My black business deserves justice. So I am seeking help from the public. I have not driven my semi-truck since this event because I am traumatized. No one has faced any consequences. I could not imagine to go through another event like this. I nearly died that day. I was within inches of being shot by the cops because of a jealous Karen. I need help for my situation. There are 4 parties that should be held responsible: Savannah, Georgia. Landstar, Georgia State Police, and Home Depot. Savannah GA. Bullies drivers, has poor communication with black drivers, racist against black business owners, intimidates female drivers, and targets high-value carriers. Landstar offers no support to black drivers and has never given me the opportunity to explain what happened. I was fired immediately through email and no one sought to check on my well-being. I had no idea of who had towed my truck while arrested. They canceled insurance, forcing me to have my truck towed home to SC when released. Landstar's accountants seized my bank account without my authorization, turned off the settlement card, many bogus charges, and charged me to find another driver to haul this load that caused me these problems. They refused to properly compensate me for the load I delivered before picking up this load as well. My money was robbed from me as well as my hard-earned business. Georgia State Police were laughing at my arrest on camera. They easily acted on racism and put me in jail without a bond hearing for 7 days. A high bond was set following this violent arrest. Furthermore, they mishandled my case and paperwork countless times. Home Depot overloads trucks and should be forced to buy a truck scale at their facility. What I would like to happen from this are hate crime charges filed, Karen should be reprimanded, police investigated, and arrests should be made. This unexplainable situation that I experienced was uncalled for and I demand that action be taken. I deserve compensation for everything that my black-owned business was robbed of. Attorney Maye should also be investigated for corruption as he never spoke to me except on the date of my trial. I am traumatized by these events. My usual trucking route is NY to FL, but I'm afraid to drive because no one has faced any consequences. It's not fair that I should have to suffer for following the regulations of my job unlike others who chose to provoke violence. My routine route is NY to FL, but now I am truly afraid for my life as an African American woman. This world is so dangerous for us. I fear losing my life at the hands of a Karen because in less than a few minutes I nearly did. While trying to protect myself and deliver home goods as a job I nearly died, was robbed and set up for failure. This trucking career began for me in 2018 when I saw many ads hiring truck drivers. With a good driving record I decided that maybe I could drive a semi-truck and decided to give it a try. This event is affecting my family as well. My daughter is in her last year of college to be a nurse. She has worked a pharmacy tech during the height of COVID. I am expecting that I will not be able to continue supporting her. I also have an elderly aunt and disabled sister that benefit from my trucking business. This Karen should be facing consequences. I am asking the public to help me find justice. Do you know an attorney that can help? Have you been harassed by Savannah? Reach me at michellesimpson123@aol.com. I am asking you to get involved. You can help me by sharing this video, calling the Atlanta FBI to request that this matter be investigated. 770-216-3000. Thank you.